Okay, so the site looks awesome right here on our laptop, okay? But we want it to look good across all devices. And doing this is called making our site responsive. So it's responsive to the screen width. So that way it's going to look good on not only our laptop, but it's also going to look good on tablets, so iPads, whatever other tablets, and then mobile devices as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over here to CSS in Bootstrap so that I can show you. And we talked earlier about how Bootstrap's built on a grid system. Well, one way Bootstrap is responsive naturally, as you can see it change, as we change the screen width, see it just change right there? Changes again, this comes up, is that Bootstrap has responsiveness built into it. And the way to make your site responsive is to give it media queries. All right, so here's the media queries that Bootstrap uses. Right now, we're at a medium width screen. So this is for desktops 992 pixels and up, and you could also go for large desktops 1200 pixels and up. And then it has a media query at 768. So you'll see it change right when it gets below 992, and now you're in this small region. And then you'll see it change right when it gets below 768, and you're in this extra small region. So let's see this live in action. So go ahead and inspect the element here. And now, as I minimize the screen width, you can see the width up here coming up. So what did we say? I think it was 992. So 1200, 992, 768. 1200, you'll see it pop in. Boom. And you're going to see it pop in at 992 around here. And then you're going to see it change again at, I think we said 768. All right, so what we're going to do in this lesson is put in, code changes so that it looks good across all screen resolutions. So let's go right here and let's start making it look good. I think it looks good. So changes at 1200 all the way to like 992. And like we said in the earlier episodes, the earlier lessons, we want to keep all this above the fold. So we want to move this up. So we're going to take this and inspect this element. Font size. Right now it is font size 63 pixels, so let's say 56 pixels. And then I also think it'll help take down this margin bottom just a little bit. All right, I like the way that looks. So what do we change? Change font size and margin bottom for the H1. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to Bootstrap and we're going to grab this right here. Actually, let's go ahead and grab that. Remember how to do CSS comments. So we're going to put right here responsive styling. All right, and we're going to change this to max width. And the max width is going to be right below 1200 pixels. So 1199 pixels. And then we're going to take all this, enter down. And what did we change? We changed the Jumbotron H1 font size to 56 pixels. And margin bottom, 30 pixels. Save that. Reload this page. Nice. You can see it overwriting here. So 56 pixels. Everything else looks good. Now let's go. We've done for medium devices. Now let's go and do it for small devices, which is tablets. So it's going to be everything from 991 to 768. So 991, 768, and I like to go to the smallest number just to make sure it's going to look good on it on the full width. So 768, perfect. Now we're going to change this again because as we said before, we want everything above the fold. And above the fold is what you see when you initially land on the page. So everything from here up. Now let's change this font size. And I'm going to change it till we have 3 lines. Boom. Say 44 pixels. Let's get this margin bottom. Actually, keep that margin bottom there. I kind of like that. And now let's look at this paragraph, because earlier we put some padding on it. I want to take that away. Beautiful. So right there at 10 pixels looks good. Let's check everything out. Looks good, looks good. Let's see this here. Okay, so what I want to do, and you'll notice when we made that switch here into the smaller range of 768 pixels to 991 pixels, that these columns change. So right when we get above 991, now we have 3 columns or 3 divs that are 4 columns wide in terms of the grid system. But boom, once we get into that small range, it goes back to there's only 1 in terms of width. There we go. And that has to do with this MD here, as I talked about earlier, and that's to discuss in a later lesson. But for now, what I want to do is I want to give each of these a little more spacing in between the two. So let's check this out. Padding tap, 20 pixels. Padding bottom, 20 pixels. Actually, once I apply it to all of them, let's go ahead and check it out. Then it should be enough spacing. Yeah. So these two look good and spaced apart. So padding top, padding bottom, 20 pixels. So we're going to do the same thing we did here. Grab this. But max width now is going to be what, 991? Because it's right below 992. Yep, 991. And that Jumbotron, we made changes to it, the H1. Changes did we make? 44 pixels. Font size, 44 pixels. Margin bottom, still 30. We also made changes to the paragraph tag in Jumbotron. We gave it padding 010. Then we did, or I'm going to do, in order to get each of these divs here to have the same padding top bottom of 20 pixels. We're going to do div. So we're going to do hashtag who, because that's what, ID of get involved. And for within the div with an ID of get involved, each column medium 4 div will have padding top 20 pixels and padding all right, now let's reload this page and everything looks good. So we've done, yep, everything looks great. So we've done small, medium, and large, and now let's go on to extra small. So once again, inspect element. And extra small is just below 768. So I'm going to go to as skinny as possible, 400 pixels. And we're going to make this 24. Let's check out the paragraph. Font size, I think it is currently 21 pixels. Yep, so let's make that a lot smaller. Let's make it 15 and padding 0. And let's change this button large. That looks good there, 18 pixels. Now let's scroll down, everything looks good there. Let's actually make pixels. That'll still be 18. Nice, nice. And let's change this actually to have a width of 90%. 80%. Beautiful. All right. Paste this just as we did last time. Max width this time is going to be what? 767 pixels. We're going to have footer, actually, the image in the footer. And what do we change this to? We had the Jumbotron, the H1 font size 24. Beautiful. We still kept that margin bottom. We changed the paragraph to have 0 padding. And the font size to be 15. Let's go ahead and make it 16. And we don't need this anymore because it's already above. Change button large. A font size of 18 pixels. And we change the homepage paragraph to have a font size of 18 pixels. I think that's all the changes we made. So let's save this, reload the page. Everything looks the same. Beautiful. Yes, nice. All right, so now it looks good across all devices. You can see it change with each hit. Nice, nice. We're good to go. One thing is, oh, okay. So earlier I told you to ignore these files down here. This is the Bootstrap core JavaScript, as you can see from the comment here. And what we're going to do right here, and this will lead us to be able to do a lot more things, is correctly link to the JavaScript document. Remember, we had to delete this earlier on the at the very beginning of the course in the CSS up here, how they had this, you know, ////dst. So we're going to delete this, and now it's saying look for JavaScript, the JS file or JS folder, go into it, and bootstrap min.js. So reload the page, and now when you click that, you should have functionality where this drops down. So that's cool. And let's clean up some other stuff real quick. Let's go up here and let's go ahead and put this title. You can put it at whatever you want. You can put it at my first website, whatever. I'm going to do 1 million lines. And you can see the title changed up here. And one more thing, just so you can see the cascading nature of this. So the way this CSS style works is, you know, you have jumbotron.h1 right here, okay? And it gives you the styling for it, okay? And then in the Jumbotron P, all this right here, button large. And basically, so it has that written in. Now you go down the document, it's saying, oh, now for Jumbotron.h1, it's going to be these CSS rules, as long as the screen is no wider than 1199 pixels. So it adopts these CSS rules and it overwrites the previous ones. And then here, it's like, oh, well, if the screen's less than 991, now it's going to overwrite this font size 56 with this 44 pixels. All right, so you can see the cascading nature that you put these lower in the document, they overwrite the previous statement. So when we inspect this element, you can see it all being overwritten. So 24 overwrites the 44, which overwrote the 56, and so on and so forth. So you can see the cascading nature of the CSS coming in effect with responsive design, and our site is now officially done. It looks great across all devices. Awesome job, guys, and now we're going to put it live and online.